If you've never hit off a Mike machine, this arm is really different and you got to learn how to get the timing on it. It definitely has that overhand throw, but it's super consistent, right? There's the spray, right? Ooh, you know, we're on the money right here. Oof, my face was close to that, I felt like. New pitching machine. This is from Master Pitch. These machines have been around forever. They're great. In fact, we're running out of balls right now, but this little dough hook, you can see, circles all these balls. It's like agitator and puts the balls into that track down there. That track ends up being right there. And then the balls move down this track and end up getting put right in that little slot where the hand comes around and throws it. That hand is controlled by the strength of the spring that you can tighten down. Actually remarkably simple and super ingenious. There's one motor on this bad boy. That motor sits right back in here. That motor turns this gear, which in turn turns this gear, which in turn spins this handle here, or this gear that's connected to the arm. And this gear here is connected with this wire down to this spring. And then you tighten this spring, and the tighter the spring, the harder it is to make this thing turn, and it loads up more energy to get around the tipping point. And when it hits that tipping point of the spin, it releases this wire sort of pops back on that handle back there, and it throws the ball. In the meantime, these balls here are sliding down and filling up this nice little gap right here that the hand comes and picks this bad boy up, and then of course throws the ball really consistently. What does it look like exactly? Well, kind of like this. Good, and you see that tipping point. The real ingenious right here is that tipping point. It gets around that edge, right? Boom! And it yanks it back. See that? Because it hits on the other side of that circle. Right now it's pulling, and now I can pull that gear forward, right? So ingenious. It's you have to have sort of an engineer's mind for that to like come to you in your sleep one night. But that's absolutely fascinating that works. But it does, and it's super simple, right? It's just super simple. One little motor and a huge case for what it looks like. It's very satisfying, I feel like. To adjust the speed, it uses this crank right here, and what you want to do is you want to tighten this screw or this spring, and you tighten by moving this thing backwards, right? And so this little contraption here, so you can kind of see this thing move. It's actually because again it moves at very small levels. So right now that you can, if you just based on the nut, it's moving backwards, so that's actually making the spring tighter. So this is actually throwing the ball faster. That would be this way, and then this way would be making the spring get more loose, which ends up making the ball get thrown slower. That's one way you can do it. See these different bolts right here? So right now this is set on the second bolt. If you wanted it to always go a lot faster, these are major changes. You could change this bolt to right here, or to even right there, or even to right there. And that allows you to adjust the speed at big levels. Of course, that's not something you can do on the fly. This sort of dials it in. This is sort of your general setting. You can change the height of the pitch with this guy here. This adjusts this right here, which in turn adjusts the height of the spring, which in turn adjusts the angle that it pulls on this. And when it changes that angle, it actually changes the height. Another way to adjust the height on this, and I'll turn it off for that to be the case. Another way you can adjust the height is there's a slot on that top screw. The slot right there, you can adjust that top nut and change the cup of that hand, the angle of that hand. So the question is it worth it? Do we like it better than we like our Hack Attack? Well, it's a different type of machine, right? What it does great, it holds a lot of baseballs, like 600 baseballs, 400 softballs. That is awesome. It is super consistent. Like, it just absolutely pounds, you know, same spot, same spot, same spot. It's also pretty inexpensive to maintain. Yeah, you don't expect, you know, if you talk to the guys who are at master pitch, parts aren't very expensive at all, maybe a couple $100 to fix even the most expensive pieces on it. We love the overhand motion of the throw, right? That's absolutely the one thing three-wheel pitching machines lack, is they don't get this motion of the ball coming downwards, and they don't get that feeling of an overhand throw of a ball. There's just something about that in terms of getting better at hitting that you need to see more often, and the more you see it, the better. What we don't like about it, well, it's just the obvious things. Number one, it is immovable, right? Like, often they're supposed to be mounted to the ground. This one is not, but it weighs 650 pounds. You're not moving it. It doesn't come on wheels. This is a set it up where it's going to be, and don't plan on moving it anytime soon, kind of thing. The second thing is it's not inexpensive. If you were to buy these things brand new, they're like $4 grand. You know, maybe even more if you get some of the parts on there. But you know, when you consider a machine like the Hack Attack is, you know, 2,000 plus the ball feeder, you know, you're not far off. Another thing we like, I should say, it's just super durable, man. This thing can just take, you don't even need to put an L screen in front of the MP4. This is the MP4 version, so it's reinforced a little more. The MP6 is not as reinforced, so you probably want to put an L screen in front of this thing. But these things can take a beating. The other disadvantage is it doesn't throw curveballs, right? That makes sense. This is just throwing straight balls. You're never gonna have an ability to put a hook on this thing, obviously. Again, these are not real baseballs. It does work with real baseballs. These are just what was in here. We're just trying to get a feel for it. You can adjust the size of this if you want to throw softballs. You want to make that a little bit bigger. It also has a different hand that you can use to be a little bit wider hand with a softball. It does